Hi, everybody. Welcome to Coach's Playbook with Paul LaPolice, your home for elite CFL breakdown analysis. Today, turnover margin, what it is, why it's important, why do coaches preach about it. We're going to do a deep dive into that. This was going to be in conjunction with a Saskatchewan Roughriders talk, but I think this needs to be its own talk. We're going to go deep in and teach you about turnover margin. First of all, please subscribe to the channel and turn notifications on. It's going to alert you as we're posting new stuff, but it's just going to help support the channel. We're trying to get a lot of CFL content out there. Turnover margin. What's important about it? Why? So this started for me years ago. 2001, I'm coaching the Toronto Argonauts. We lose a game. The quarterback throws a couple interceptions. I'm talking to him after the game. This is Jimmy Kemp, really intelligent football player, really good guy. And I was like, Jimmy, you just can't throw picks. You know, it's hard for us to win games. And he's like, really? Is that big a deal? Kind of asked me a question like, it's not that big a deal. Everybody's going to throw picks. And I have a really good statistical answer for him. So after the season, I did a deep dive and started breaking down and I've done it ever since. Every time I work for what we were in certain turnover margin spots. And then also broke down the entire league, how we won in each area of turnover margin, so for the entire league. So that's been something I've done as a staple. So what is turnover margin report? First of all, it is on offense or special teams, anytime you turn the ball over, if you fumble, throw an interception, or get stopped on third down. On defense and special teams, it's anytime you create a fumble, get an interception, or get a stop on third down. So there's a number of takeaways, which is defense, and there's a number of giveaways. When you combine those two, that gives you what the turnover margin is for a football game. So if neither team has a turnover, they finish even. If the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have one turnover and the Calgary Stampeders have none, the Calgary Stampeders finish +1. If the Calgary Stampeders have three turnovers and Winnipeg has none, well, Calgary ends up -3 in turnover margin. And that's how it goes. Say one team had 4. Let's say Calgary had 4 and Winnipeg had 3. Well, Winnipeg still would finish +1. So that's how you factor in what it is. Why is turnover margin important? A couple of reasons. A lot of times the takeaways by defense, they sometimes score themselves, but they're also going to put a team usually in position, a scoring position. They might put you right in field goal range, or they might put you in for a short field to score a touchdown. And then offensively, anytime you give up the opportunity to keep the ball and score, that's going to hurt your chances to win. So there's interesting stats that go with it. Let's take a look at some of the stats that go with it. 2001, 2002, this is right from what I showed the players with and started with the quarterbacks. So if you look at this, these is the turnover margin. To the left-hand side, it says +7, +6, +4, +3, +2, then even. So the teams that finish, the games that go 16-3 and +1, obviously the teams finish at +1, somebody finished -1, and it's the equal amount of games. So -2 numbers should be the same as +2 numbers going forward. So even, there's 57 games that were even. We're no turnover margin, so you can't judge winning and losing. But if you were +1 in 2001 and 2002, 33 and 23, 59% chance of winning a game, not a huge stat bump. Let's go to +2 though. 34 wins, 10 losses when you were +2. That's a 20, you got a 50% chance of winning. That's a 77% difference. That's a huge deal. Go up to +3. Those 2 years, there were 15 games. The team that finished +3 won 14 out of 15. That's a 93% chance. And then obviously +4 or greater. All right, amazing. Somebody lost at +4, but it happens. And then you go conversely. You want to educate your players? Hey, if we finish -2, you got a 20% chance of winning. -3, you got a 7% chance. So as a head coach, if you throw 3 interceptions in the first half, you better be telling your defense, we got to take the ball away because we have a 7% chance of winning games. So this is the stats you have to give to your players. This is kind of a culmination of that. 9% at +1 or -1, not a big deal. You can find other stats that matter. But +2, 27% chance, that's a big deal. +3, a huge difference. And +4 better. Okay, here's Winnipeg, 2019 Grey Cup season. I was the offensive coordinator. This is what we did for the season. So we finished +1 in 4 games. We won 3 and lost 1. But every other game, +2, +3, +4, and +6, we won every one of those football games. And we had a good football team, good offense, good defense, everything, special teams. Now, we finished -1 3 times. We went 1 and 2. We finished -2, -4, and -5, and we lost all those games. So obviously you can see, even good football teams, if you turn the football over, you're going to lose. That 2019 Grey Cup team did not have a turnover until the end of the game, when the game was out of reach, when they were going to win the Grey Cup. So they went 3 straight games without a turnover in the playoffs. Here's the 2021 season for the Red Blacks and the league. So as a league, +1, 25% increase in winning. So it was a huge difference than it was, 20 years ago. +2 or -2, or +2 or +3 had a 37%. What does that mean? You got a 50% chance of winning, 87% when you're +2 or more. And +4 was 50% increase. Ottawa, right, in 2021, we struggled with that. We were 3-1 when we won the turnover margin. And we had too many games. We lost a turnover margin, and we could not overcome it. We lost all those games. Okay, too many negative turnover margin games. So how does it factor to this season? So team rankings through 3 weeks of the football season. Here's what I want you to think about. Right here is the turnover margin as a team. You can see the turnovers made by each team, and you can see how many takeaways by each team. So Montreal has given up the ball fewest times, twice, and they've got the most takeaways. So they're 10-2. There they go, +8 turnover margin. Why they're undefeated? Big stat right there. Saskatchewan, second in this category. Well, they're also undefeated. Toronto, another undefeated team. I know they lost, as I do this, they lost last night, but +3 going into that game. So that's why the top teams usually protect the football and take the football away, are the ones that put themselves in a position to win football games.